Ravenshill. The name itself hung heavy, a shroud over the small village nestled in the valley. It was a place untouched by time, where ancient oaks clawed at the sky and the river whispered secrets to the reeds. But beneath the idyllic facade, a darkness festered, a fear that clung to the cobblestone streets and seeped into the very bones of the houses. It began subtly, whispers at the edge of the forest, shadows that danced just beyond the reach of the lantern light. Then, the rumors started. Tales of a spectral figure gliding through the moonlit fields, her face obscured by a cowl. They called her the Weaver. No one knew who she was or what she wanted. Some dismissed it as folklore, old wives' tales spun to frighten children. But fear has a way of taking root, even in the most skeptical heart, and as the days grew shorter, so too did the shadows lengthen in Ravenshill. The whispers became murmurs. The murmurs grew into uneasy conversations held in hushed tones. The Weaver's presence, once a phantom, began to solidify. She was seen more frequently now, at the edge of the forest, by the riverbank, a fleeting glimpse of gray against the fading light. Then came the signs. At first, they were easily dismissed. A misplaced shawl hanging on a branch, its fringes swaying rhythmically in the wind. A pattern of pebbles arranged on a doorstep, too intricate to be accidental, but the signs became more frequent, more undeniable. Intricate patterns woven from straw and twine appeared overnight on fences and gates. They were beautiful, yes, but there was a chilling precision to them, a cold, alien symmetry that spoke of something otherworldly. The villagers awoke to find the Weaver's mark everywhere, intricate designs woven into the very fabric of their lives. A spiderweb of threads spun across a doorway, shimmering with morning dew. A child's doll, its button eyes replaced with tiny woven orbs that seemed to follow your every move. Fear turned to paranoia. Neighbors regarded each other with suspicion, their faces etched with a terror they couldn't mask. The once vibrant heart of Ravenshill had become a ghost town, the streets deserted after nightfall. The village elders, their faces lined with worry, convened urgent meetings, but their words rang hollow, their reassurances drowned out by the growing sense of dread that permeated the very air they breathed. For they knew, as did every soul in Ravenshill, that the Weaver was toying with them. Section 4. Defiance and Despair. Some, fueled by desperation, tried to fight back. They armed themselves with pitchforks and scythes, their faces grim beneath the flickering light of their torches. They ventured into the surrounding woods, determined to confront the entity that had poisoned their lives. But the Weaver was always one step ahead, her laughter echoing through the trees, a chilling counterpoint to their heavy footsteps. The search parties returned empty-handed, their resolve broken, their fear amplified tenfold. The Weaver had become a specter of their own creation, a terrifying embodiment of their deepest fears. Section 5. Emily's Gambit. Emily, a young woman known for her quick wit and even quicker tongue, refused to give in to the paralyzing fear that gripped Ravenshill. She had seen the toll the Weaver's presence had taken on her friends, her neighbors, and she was determined to put an end to it. Driven by a mix of fear and resolve, Emily devised a plan. She spent days studying the patterns left by the Weaver, searching for a weakness, a clue to the entity's motives. She noticed a recurring motif, a spiral that appeared in various forms, a symbol that seemed to beckon, to invite. She would use the Weaver's own patterns against it. Emily spent the next few days transforming her attic into a trap, weaving a labyrinth of twine and yarn, incorporating the spiral motif into its very structure. The air grew thick with the scent of beeswax and fear as she worked, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. Section 6. Into the Weaver's Web. Night fell, blanketing Ravenshill in an oppressive silence. Emily, armed with nothing but her wits and a flickering oil lamp, climbed the creaking stairs to her attic. The trap was set, the air thick with anticipation. Hours crawled by. The only sound was the beating of her own heart and the rustle of the wind against the roof tiles. Just when her resolve began to waver, she heard it, the distinct click of her attic door latch releasing. Her breath caught in her throat. This was it. Emily retreated further into the shadows, her hand gripping the makeshift weapon she had fashioned from a sharpened knitting needle. The attic door creaked open, and a figure materialized from the darkness. But it wasn't the Weaver. It was her neighbor, her face pale and drawn, her eyes wide with terror. She lunged for Emily, her voice a strangled whisper. "It's not her you should fear, child. It's everything." Then just as suddenly as she had appeared, she was gone, vanishing back into the night. Emily's blood ran cold. What did her neighbor mean? Before she could process the encounter, she felt it, A subtle shift in the air, a prickling sensation at the back of her neck. The attic, once her sanctuary, now felt suffocating, the air thick with unseen menace. The yarn, the twine, the very walls themselves seemed to writhe and pulse around her. The spiral motif, once a symbol of hope, now appeared sinister, mocking her naivete. She was caught in a web of her own making, but it wasn't the weaver who had trapped her. It was Ravenshill itself. Her scream, choked and desperate, echoed through the empty house, weaving itself into the fabric of the night.